I still remember the exact second Mr. Mac dropped. We were rushing through Atlanta airport, my 9-year-old daughter Mia, clutching her pink backpack with her insulin pump clipped to the strap, beeping softly like it always does when her sugar's climbing. Then a woman in a navy blazer and an HOA president hair cutely screamed across the sky priority lane, "That child has a bomb strapped to her waist." Security, the entire terminal froze. Phones came out. A Delta Gate agent went pale. And this Karen, this absolute stranger, kept pointing at my diabetic little girl like she'd caught a terrorist. I felt the blood drain from my face because I just knew this was about to ruin everything. My name's Alex, and that day in June was supposed to be the start of our first big vacation in 3 years. Mia had finally gotten her numbers stable enough at Disney. My wife Sarah had taken 2 weeks off work, and I'd splurged every mile I had for first-class tickets so Mia wouldn't have to deal with middle-seat chaos when she needed to check her. We'd even pre-boarded with the medical assistance tag Delta Airways gives us. Everything was perfect until HOA Karen decided my daughter's life-saving device looked suspicious. She wasn't even flying. She was just some busybody waiting for her sit. A Sorrowbell, wearing that universal Karen uniform North Face vest, highlighted bob, and the confidence of someone who's never been told no in her life. She marched straight up to the SAS supervisor who was helping us and announced loud enough with 3 gates tahir. I live in a very secure neighborhood, and we don't allow devastated people like that. I'm calling the police, if you let them through. I tried to explain. Ma'am, that's an insult. My daughter is type 1 diabetic. She cut me off. I know what a bomb looks like. I watched the news. People started A kid behind us started crying. Mia, sweet, shy Mia who hates attention, buried her face in my hip and whispered, "Daddy, why is she yelling at me?" That's when my wife lost it. Sarah stepped forward, voice shaking with rage, and said, "Touch my daughter's medical device and see what happens." Karen smirked. Actually smirked and told TSA agent, "I'll have your badge for this. I know people." They pulled us out of line. Full secondary screening. The supervisor apologized under his breath, but said they had to follow protocols of the credible threat report. They made Mia unzip her $6,000 pump in front of strangers, hold it above her head while they swabbed it for explosives. Her blood sugar was 220 and climbing from the stress, and every beep felt like a gunshot in the silence. I watched my little girl stand there barefoot on the cold airport floor, tears rolling down her cheeks while this woman stood 10 feet away, live streaming to her HOA Facebook group with the caption, "Catching terrorists at ATL security cleared us in 8 minutes. 8 minutes. That felt like 8 hours. This guy handed the pump back and muttered, "Sir, I'm so sorry. That lady's been making scenes all morning." But the damage was done. Mia was shaking. Her Dexcom screaming high alerts on my phone. We missed our boarding window. The gate agent said the flight was oversold and they'd already given our seats away. I thought that was the worst day of my life. I was wrong because what Delta did next, nobody saw coming, and what we found out why that Karen targeted us specifically. That's the part that still keeps me up at night. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You wanted to know exactly who this woman was and why she wasn't just some random busybody. Because when we finally got to the Delta podium, readied and defeated, the supervisor took one look at the security footage, then at Mia's tear-stained face, and said something that made my jaw drop. "Sir, that passenger who reported you, she's not supposed to be within 500 feet of this airport." Wait, what? The Delta supervisor, a tall guy named Marcus with a military straightback, pulled us into the little office behind the podium and locked the door. He turned his monitor so we could see the security footage. There was a Cohen, clear as day, zooming in on Maya's bump with her phone like she was filming Gevins for Delaney. Marcus lowered his. "That woman is Mrs. Evelyn Whitmore. She's on the federal NOF list. Has been for 14 months. My wife and I just stared at him. Then alphalist, this suburban wine mom who looked like she alphabetizes her spice rack." Marcus clicked another file. Turns out Evelyn used to be vice president of the most psychotic HOA in Alpharetta, Georgia. Think private security patrols, $500 fines for unapproved Halloween decorations, the works. 2 years ago, she went full vigilante after her husband left her for a flight attendant met on Delta. Instead of therapy, Evelyn decided every Delta employee in Danione wearing a Delta lanyard was personally responsible. She started showing up at ATL screaming at gate agents, following crew members to their cars, even slashed tires in the employer at once. Feds slapped the restraining order and put her on the no-fly list after she tried to rush a cockpit during boarding to check if her ex was flying. But here's the insane part. Their restraining order only covers Delta employees, regular passengers. She can still come to the terminal to pick people up. So, she'd been camping out in Arrivals 3-4 times a week, hunting for anyone who looked happy Tobe flying Delta, and that day she saw Mia's medical pre-board pass with the big Delta logo on it. To her broken brain, we were the enemy. While Marcus was explaining this, my phone started blowing up. Friends sending me the video of Evelyn had posted to her HOA group titled, "Terrorist child almost blows up Atlanta airport." It already had 40 comments calling my 9-year-old a future school shooter, saying she should be in Guantanamo. Mia saw it over Miss Holder and started dry heaving from stress. Her sugar spiked to 340. We had to bowl us right there on the airport floor while strangers walked by. That's when Marcus did something I'll never forget. He got on the phone with Delta Corporate Security, put it on speaker and said, "I've got a type 1 minor medically deorted because of a no-fly passenger who violated her. We owe this family more than an apology." 10 minutes later, he hung up and looked at us dead serious. "Pack your bags. You're not going to Disney anymore. You're going wherever you want, whenever you want, for the rest of your lives. And it's on us." You thought he was joking. He wasn't, but Evelyn wasn't done, because while Delta was upgrading us, she was live on Thelical News crying to a reporter Thelical correctness led a bomber on a plane and that she was the real victim. The reporter asked for her proof. She held up a screenshot of Mia's pump with our full names visible because I am an idiot and never blurred the Dexcom share screen. By the time we got to the Delta Sky Club, now being escorted by 3 supervisors and an off-duty cop, the video was on every station. Twitter ways, #Insulinas is not a bomb started trending because people wear a lip. But Evelyn, she doubled down, Shetto Channel 2 action. News that she knew for a fact we were faking the diabetes for special treatment. Because no child that young actually needs all those. That interview aired at 6 o'clock p.m. By 6:17 p.m. Delta CEO personally called me. By 7:05 p.m. Evelyn's entire world was about to collapse in a way nobody, not even her, could have predicted. Because there was one detail about her didn't know yet, one secret she'd spent years hiding from her perfect little HOA kingdom. And when Delta's legal team dug into her background to build the lawsuit, they found it. And trust me, when you hear what it was, your jaw is going to hit the floor. Exactly like mine did. But that's the final twist. And it's coming next. The CEO didn't just call to apologize, heckled to declare war. At 7:42 p.m. that night, while we sat in the Sky Club with Mia finally asleep on my lap, 2 Delta vice presidents walked in with a notary and a stack of papers. They slid a black American Express Centurion card across table. The metal one people joke doesn't even exist, except this one had Mia's full name embossed on it. Mia Rivera, lifetime diamond medallion. Then they slid a second one. Alex and Sarah Vera, lifetime global companion. No expiration date ever. They told us the account was already loaded with 5 million sky miles each. Replenish every January 1st until the end of time, and that every single Delta employer worldwide had just received an email with our names and photos. This family boards first, always. This family never waits. This family never pays. But their bomb was still coming. While we were signing, Delta's head of legal was on the phone in the corner. I overheard a sentence that made my blood run. Pull the 2021 Emory Children's Hospital Charity Gala records. Yeah, Theon Whitmore used to chair. All of them. C. Evelyn Whitmore had spent a decade the queen of Atlanta carita circuits, raising hundreds of thousands for, wait for it, type 1 diabetes. Her own son, Connor, had been diagnosed at age 4. She had posters of him all over her McMansion wearing. Exact same pump model as Mia. She'd bragged for years that her, perfectly to warrior inspired her to start the annual Cure T1D Gala, where she forced neighbor to buy $10,000 tables off his social death. And then 3 years ago Connor died complications from aloe in the middle of the night. Evelyn found him cold in his bed the morning after she'd refused to let him sleep with his Dexcom alarms on because the beeping annoyed the neighbors. The Semeniber she policed with her whole clipboard. The guilt destroyed her. Instead of getting help, she buried it. She shut down the foundation overnight, threatened to sue anyone who mentioned Connor's name, and started hatting a very diabetic child who was still, especially the ones whose parents let them beep in public. In her warped mind, every alarm she heard was Connor screaming at her from the grave. Delta's legal team found the sealed medical examiner report, the text she sent Herrick's husband the night Connor died. "I can't do another false alarm." I turned it off. And the GoFundMe she quietly started 6 months later for a memorial fountain that was never built because she spent the money on lawyers to keep everything quiet. By midnight, Delta's PR machine went nuclear. They didn't leak it. They carpet bombed it. Every major outlet got full file at the same time. Thegalop photos of Evelyn hugging kids with pumps, the autopsy, the texts, the missing money. They titled the press release "Woman Who Terrorized the Diabetic Child Lost Her Own Son to Thism Disease." The internet did. Her HOA Facebook group turned into a war zone. Neighbors posted ring footage of her screaming at kids forwarding scooters too loud. The same week Connor died, someone found the fountain GoFundMe and matched the withdrawals to her Botox appointments. By morning, she was the most hated woman in America. Delta flew us to Disney the next day on a private jet painted with Mia's wish on side. Cast members cried when they shut down Magic Kingdom for 2 hours just for Mia. She met every princess while eating unlimited churros and never once had to scan a lightning lane because every ride operator already knew her name. Evelyn, last I heard, she sold her house for half the value, Moveto, some nowhere town in Alabama, and changes her name every 6 months. Beckos, people still recognize her. Herrick's HOA board put up a new rule: no resident may ever call authorities on or killed medical device again in memory of Connor Whitmore. They named the community park after him without her. So yeah, One Karen thought she could bully a little girl with an insulin pump. She ended up accidentalizing my daughter, the most magical childhood on earth, and exposing her own darkest secret to the entire world. And the very time we board a plane now, gate agents salute, flight attendants tear up, pilots come out to say hi. Mia just smiles and says, "It's okay, Daddy, the beeps are good now." Some villains destroy themselves trying to We just sit in 1A eating warm cookies watching the clouds go by forever. Thanks for flying Delta. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Every single subscription motivates me to bring you even more exciting and dramatic host stories. And don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss a new. I'll see you in the next story where justice gets even more satisfying.